feel that. Before you look up at the sky, feel it in your body. There is a heat gathering just below your ribs, a low, insistent warmth in your solar plexus that is not from any food you have eaten or any exercise you have done. It is a slow, churning heat, like an ember that has been sleeping in the ash of your quiet compromises for a decade and has just now, in the last few days, been touched by a breath of wind you cannot see and cannot name. You have felt it when you wake in the morning, before the day has a chance to tell you who you are supposed to be. You have felt it late at night, when the silence of the house is so loud that the only other sound is the hum of this furnace inside of you. Do not dismiss it. That is the first mistake. Do not call it anxiety or indigestion or stress. That is the second. That heat has a name. It is ancient. It is Mars. And the reason it is burning in you now, the reason it feels less like a comfort and more like a summons, is because tonight the moon will pass directly in front of him. It will not be a collision in the way your mind understands it, but in the language of energy, in the poetry of the celestial spheres. It is a crash. It is an occultation. It is the great, cool, silver mirror of your subconscious, your intuition, your ancestral memory, and your deepest, most unnamed feelings, moving to swallow the god of war, of action, of severance, of sacred, masculine fire. The moon will eclipse Mars, and for a few precious, potent hours, the light of pure, unthinking action will be filtered through the deep, watery lens of absolute, undeniable feeling. But it does not stop there. This is not a simple transit. After the moon has held Mars within its shadow, it will continue its journey, and, within the same celestial breath, within the same dark passage of the sky, it will do the same to Saturn. It will swallow the old king. The god of structure, of karma, of limitation, of time itself, and of the sacred, binding contracts you have made with yourself and with others. First, the planet of the sword, then, the planet of the stone. First, the impulse to cut, then, the law that says you cannot. Both, in sequence, will be drowned in the silver light of the lunar ocean. This is not common. For the moon, which represents the tidal, rhythmic pulse of your life, to conceal both your will to act and the structures that contain that action within hours of each other, is a celestial event of profound and dangerous significance. The last time a configuration of this precision occurred, entire empires reevaluated their borders, not through war, but through a sudden collective realization that the lines they had drawn on the map were lies. It is an alignment that does not break things from the outside, but dissolves them from within. It is a cosmic permission slip to feel, with terrifying clarity, the exact shape of the cage you have built for yourself, and to feel, for the first time, the lock beginning to dissolve not from a key, but from the simple corrosive power of your own tears. So when you feel that heat in your gut, understand what you are feeling. You are feeling the forge. You are the iron being prepared. Mars is the fire, the raw, untamed potential for action that you have suppressed, that you have told yourself is too much, too angry, too selfish, too dangerous. It is the part of you that knows exactly what needs to be done, which bridge needs to be burned, which word needs to be spoken, which door needs to be closed. And for years, perhaps your entire life, you have kept that fire banked, controlled. You have been told that its untamed expression is destructive. And then there is the weight. Feel it now, in your shoulders, the slight chronic ache in your lower back, in your knees, the feeling of carrying something that is not yours to carry, or perhaps something that was once yours, but has now become a dead weight. That is Saturn. That is the structure, the rules, the vows, the shoulds and the musts. The identity you have so carefully constructed, the career that provides security but no life, the relationship that looks perfect on the outside but is a desert of silence on the inside. Saturn is the bone of your life, the necessary skeleton that gives you form. But bones can be set wrong. Bones can become cages. Tonight, the moon, your deep inner water, your soul's truth, rises to meet them both. It is a tide coming in, not to extinguish the fire of Mars, but to temper it. Not to shatter the bones of Saturn, but to wash them clean. To show you where the structure has become a prison. This is not an attack. It is a baptism. It is the forging of a new instrument within you, a sword made not of iron, but of silver, a blade of emotional truth, cooled and hardened, and made unbreakable by the very waters of your deepest feeling, and given weight and purpose by the limitations you are now preparing to transcend. Let me be clear. The universe is not doing this to you. It is doing this for you, because a part of you, a voice that whispers in the moments just before you fall asleep, has been praying for this. A voice that whispers, "This is not it." A voice that says, "There must be more." A voice that aches with the raw, unspoken need for a life that feels less like an obligation and more like a homecoming. That voice is the moon. And tonight, it is no longer whispering. It is rising. It is a tidal wave of accumulated truth, and it is coming to claim the fire and the stone that have defined your reality. This process has already begun. The heat you feel is the first stage. The fire is being brought to its highest temperature. This is why you have felt irritable, impatient, why small injustices have felt like mortal wounds. Why your tolerance for falsity, for pleasantries that mean nothing, has worn down to a nerve. That is Mars, superheating in your core, preparing for the quench. The old stories from the Fertile Crescent, the Babylonian sky priests who watched this same alignment, wrote of it in their clay tablets. They called it the Night of the Watered Blade. They knew that when Nergal, their god of war and fire, disappeared behind Sin, the moon god, the swords of kings were being reforged in the heavens. They believed that any decision made, any action taken in the week that followed, would be guided not by strategy or ambition, but by an unshakable gut-level certainty. It was a time when treaties were broken and truths were told, not with the hot rage of a battlefield, but with the cold, calm clarity of a river finding its final path to the sea. Think of the alchemists of the Middle Ages, in their secret cellars, trying to turn lead into gold. They understood this process intimately. They knew that to transform a base material, you first had to break it down. You had to dissolve it, subject it to immense heat, and then purify it. What is happening inside you is a form of spiritual alchemy. The lead is the life you have been living out of duty, the life that is heavy, gray, and burdensome. Saturn. The fire is your vital life force, your will, your desire, your anger. Mars. And the water is your emotional truth, your soul. The moon. The alignment tonight is the moment the alchemist pours the molten lead into the transformative solution. It is the moment of dissolution. It is the solve et coagula, the dissolving and the reforming. You are not falling apart. You are being dissolved. Let that sink into your body. The sense of disorientation you have been feeling, the confusion about your own desires, the feeling that the ground is shifting beneath your feet. This is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that the process is working. The old form must dissolve before the new one can emerge. The heat in your solar plexus is the fire under the crucible. The emotional tides, The sudden waves of sadness or inexplicable anger are the alchemical waters doing their sacred work. You are in the crucible, and the only way out is through. The ancient Vedic seers mapped the sky with a different poetry. They saw the path of the moon through 27 lunar mansions, or nakshatras, each one a house with its own spirit, its own power, its own challenge. The ground where this alignment is happening tonight is a particularly fearsome and potent nakshatra. It is a place in the sky associated with a teardrop, with the rage of the storm god Rudra. It is a place of intense, transformative storms that tear down whatever is not rooted in the deepest truth. But the seers knew a secret. They knew that the storm was not a punishment. The purpose of a hurricane is not to destroy the houses, but to reveal which houses were built on sand. The storm is a truth teller. The teardrop is not one of grief, but of release. It is the drop of water that finally overflows the dam. So, you are feeling the heat of the forge. You are feeling the storm gathering on the horizon of your inner world. You are feeling the teardrop begin to form. This is the celestial weather report for your soul. And the forecast for the next 48 hours is a 100% chance of truth. Now, let us bring this down, from the sky, from the ancient texts, and into the temple of your own body. For that is where this is truly happening. The cosmos is not a distant clockwork. It is a mirror of the living, breathing universe that exists within you. The tightness you feel in your hips, the tension in your jaw, the stiffness in your neck. Where do you think that comes from? That is the unstruck blow. That is the stored momentum of every action you did not take. Every no you did not speak. Every time you swallowed your fire instead of letting it warm the world around you. Your body has become a museum of unspoken truths, and Mars, trapped and unexpressed, has become a chronic inflammation in your tissues. The heat you feel now is that stored energy finally being activated, demanding release. It wants to move. It wants to act. It wants to sever. And the weight, the exhaustion that feels bone deep, the feeling that you are walking through thick mud just to get through a normal day. That is Saturn. That is the weight of the structures you are upholding. It is the psychic and energetic cost of maintaining a reality that is no longer aligned with your soul. Every time you smile when you want to scream, every time you say yes when your body is screaming no, you add another stone to the load you are carrying. Your body, in its infinite wisdom, is registering the gravity of this false structure. It is telling you, through its exhaustion, through its aches, that the load has become unbearable. The skeleton can no longer support the weight of the lie. The moon's passage is the moment of reckoning for both. As it moves over Mars, it is asking your feelings to inform your fire. It says, what action would you take if you were guided not by fear, not by logic, not by what others expect of you, but by the raw, undeniable truth of what you feel in this moment? Take a breath and ask yourself that. If you let the tide of your deepest feeling, your sadness, your rage, your longing, your joy, wash over the part of you that wants to do something, what would it do? The answer will likely terrify you. It will not be small. It will not be polite. It will be decisive. That is the silver sword beginning to take shape. Then, as the moon moves to cover Saturn, it asks a different but related question. It brings the water of your soul to the stone of your reality. It says, what structure in your life, what rule, what definition of yourself, what commitment can no longer withstand the tide of who you are becoming? Where has the riverbank become a dam? Again, be still and listen. Your body already knows. The structure that is weakest is the one that causes you the most physical and emotional pain to uphold. It is the job that gives you migraines. It is the relationship that makes your stomach clench. It is the family obligation that leaves you feeling utterly drained. The moon is not smashing the dam. It is simply rising and rising and rising until its own weight and pressure find the smallest crack, and then, with infinite patience, it will begin to pour through. The dissolution has already begun. There is a story about the Japanese swordsmiths, masters of their craft. When they forged a katana, the process was a sacred ritual. The heating, the hammering, the folding of the steel, it was all done with immense intention. But the most critical moment was the quenching. The smith would heat the blade to a precise luminous temperature and then, in a single fluid motion, plunge it into water. The violent hissing, the plume of steam, the scream of the hot metal meeting the cold water, this was the moment the blade's soul was born. It was this shock, this sudden immersion, that created the blade's unique crystalline structure, its legendary hardness and flexibility. If the temperature was wrong, if the water was impure, if the smith's hand hesitated, the blade would warp or crack. It would be useless. You are the blade. The accumulated experiences of your life, the pressures, the hammer blows of fate, have folded you, shaped you, prepared you. The heat you feel is the final heating. Mars. The alignment tonight is the quenching. The moon. Your entire life has been leading to this moment of shocking, clarifying immersion in the waters of your own truth. You may feel like you are going to crack. You may feel the stress of it in every cell of your being. But you will not break. You are being tempered. The parts of you that are not true are being burned or washed away. What remains will be the essence of you, hard, flexible, and utterly, lethally clear. And Saturn? In the Japanese tradition, after the blade was quenched, it was polished, meticulously for weeks, with stones of finer and finer grit. This is the work of Saturn. Polishing is the act of grinding away everything that is not the blade. It is slow, disciplined, and requires patience. The moon's transit over Saturn is the beginning of this great polishing. It is revealing the coarse, heavy structures that must be ground away so that the true form of your soul's purpose can shine. This is not about destroying your life. It is about refining it. It is about removing the patina of obligation, the rust of resentment, the dullness of conformity, until what is left is so sharp and so bright that it cuts through illusion just by its very presence. There is someone in your life you need to have a conversation with. You know exactly who it is. Your mind just supplied the name and the face. For months, maybe years, you have rehearsed it. You have avoided it. You have found 1,000 reasons why now is not the right time. The heat in your gut is the pressure of the unspoken words. The weight on your shoulders is the burden of the silence. This celestial alignment is bringing the water to the fire and the stone. It is creating a pressure cooker inside your soul. The conversation is no longer a choice. It is an inevitability. The sword is being forged for this purpose, to cut through the silence. Not with anger, but with a clarity so pure it is its own form of compassion. To speak the truth is the highest form of love, for yourself and for the other person. Because the illusion you are both maintaining is starving you both of oxygen. This is not about blame. Let that go. This is a reversal statement that is critical for you to understand. The structure that is failing was not a mistake. That relationship, that job, that identity, it was a necessary container for a previous version of yourself. It was the training ground. It was the crucible that allowed you to be heated to this very temperature. You needed its weight, its limitations, its friction to become who you are now. Saturn was not your jailer. He was your teacher. He was the grindstone that sharpened you. But the lesson is over. The class is dismissed. To remain in that structure now is not an act of loyalty. It is an act of self-betrayal. And your body, your soul, the entire cosmos will no longer permit it. The discomfort you feel is the discomfort of growth. It is the pain of a snake shedding its skin. The old skin has become too tight. It is constricting your breath, dulling your senses. The process of shedding is awkward, vulnerable, and exhausting. But it is necessary if you are to continue to grow. You are not dying. You are molting. And what comes next will be more vibrant, more alive, more truly you than anything you have known before. So, we have felt the fire of Mars in the solar plexus. We have felt the weight of Saturn in the bones. We have understood the quenching, tempering tide of the moon. We have seen the sword in the forge. But a sword, no matter how perfectly forged, is only potential until it is claimed by its wielder. It must be drawn from the water. Its hilt must be wrapped. Its weight must be felt in the hand. The next 3 days are for this. This is the practice. This is how you claim the silver sword of your own emotional truth. Do not let this moment pass as just an interesting idea. Ground it. Embody it. Use the window that the heavens have opened for you. Tonight, on the first night, the night of the great quenching, I want you to perform a simple ritual. You will need a clear glass and cold water, as cold as you can get it. If you can, add ice. Go somewhere you can be alone, even if it is just for 5 minutes in a closed room. Stand with your feet firmly on the floor. Take the glass of ice-cold water and hold it with both hands against your solar plexus, that place just below your ribs where you have been feeling the heat. Close your eyes. Breathe. And with every breath, I want you to consciously pour the heat from your body into the water. Feel it moving from your core, up through your chest, down your arms, and into the glass. Name what the heat is. Silently, or in a whisper, give it its true name. Is it rage? Name it. Is it unspoken passion? Name it. Is it the fire of an idea you have been too afraid to act upon? Name it. Is it frustration at a boundary that has been crossed one too many times? Name the boundary. Pour all of it into the water. Keep going until you feel a shift, a sense of coolness or quiet in your core. The water in the glass is now holding the charge. It has done its work. It has quenched the fire. Then, you must take this water and return it to the earth. If you have a garden or a patch of ground outside, pour it there. If you live in an apartment, pour it into a potted plant. As you pour it, say these words aloud. I return this fire to the earth, not to be extinguished, but to be grounded. What was rage becomes passion. What was frustration becomes fuel. What was chaos becomes creation. You are not getting rid of the energy. You are transforming it from a destructive internal heat into a grounded creative force. You are planting the seed of your new will. That is the first night. On the second night, we will address the stone, the structure of Saturn. For this, you will need a piece of paper, a pen, and a stone. Any stone will do. Find one on a walk, take one from a garden. It should have some weight to it, enough that you can feel its presence in your palm. Tonight, you will sit with the paper, and you will write down the structure that you now understand must dissolve. Do not be vague, be specific. Is it the unspoken rule in your family that you are not allowed to be more successful than your parents? Write it down. Is it the silent contract in your relationship that you will sacrifice your needs for the sake of peace? Write it down. Is it the identity of being the good one, the responsible one, the one who never complains, that is suffocating you? Write it down. Fill the page. Do not censor yourself. This is not for anyone else to see. When you are finished, fold the paper. Place it on a surface, and then place the stone directly on top of it. And you will leave it there for the entire night. This is an act of profound acknowledgement. You are not fighting the structure. You are not cursing it. You are honoring it. You are looking at it clearly and feeling its weight. You are saying to it with reverence, I see you. I feel your weight. I thank you for the lessons you have taught me. I thank you for the container you provided. Your service is now complete. By doing this, you are not engaging in a battle. You are consciously uncoupling from an old reality. You are releasing it with honor, not with anger. This allows for a graceful dissolution rather than a violent shattering. That is the second night. On the third and final night, you will claim the sword. Go to your stone and your paper. Pick up the stone and hold it for a moment. Feel its weight, but notice if it feels different. Lighter, perhaps. More like an anchor than a burden. Place it somewhere meaningful to you, as a reminder of the strength and structure you are now building from within. Then, take the folded paper. Do not open it. Do not read it again. Its purpose was to help you name the old law, not to dwell on it. You are going to release it. If you can do so safely, you will burn this paper. Take it outside, to a fire-safe bowl or a patch of bare earth. As you light the corner of the paper, I want you to speak aloud the new law you will live by. You are not destroying the old one. You are replacing it. As the flames consume the paper, you will state your truth. It does not need to be a long speech. It can be a single sentence. My voice matters. My peace is my priority. I am free to change. I answer to my own soul. Speak it with the authority of a queen or a king issuing a decree for their entire realm. Because that is what you are doing. You are issuing a new sovereign law for the kingdom of your own life. As you watch the paper turn to ash, know that you are witnessing an alchemical transformation. The old, heavy, leaden structure of Saturn, written in ink, is being released into the air as light and heat. It is being dissolved. And in your hand, though you cannot see it, you can feel it. The weight of the silver sword. It is cool to the touch. It feels perfectly balanced. It is yours. You have forged it from your own fire, quenched it in your own truth, and claimed it by releasing the old world. It is not a weapon of violence. It is an instrument of clarity. It is for cutting through illusion. It is for carving a new path. It is for defending the sacred borders of your own heart. You did not find this by accident. You did not click a link or stumble upon this message by chance. Something in you, the part that has been tending that low, secret fire, recognized the summons before I ever spoke a word. You were already feeling the heat rising. You were already sensing the storm on the horizon. My words are not giving you anything new. They are simply giving a name, a language, a map to the territory you have already entered. Your presence here, your willingness to listen this far, is the final proof that you are ready. You are ready to shed the skin. You are ready to claim the sword. This journey is not without its trembling. It asks you to step into a space of not knowing. The moment after you speak your truth, the moment after you decide to leave the job or end the relationship, there is a void. We are taught to fear the void, but the void is not empty. It is the space of pure potential. It is the fertile darkness from which all new things are born. You must be brave enough to stand in that space, without rushing to fill it with the next thing, the next certainty. Trust that the sword in your hand will be enough to light your way. Trust that the new structure, the one made of your own sovereign bones, will grow to support you in ways the old one never could. There is a tenderness required now, a deep compassion for the part of you that is afraid. Hold that part of yourself as you would a small child. Acknowledge its fear. Thank it for trying to keep you safe for all these years. And then tell it, with gentle firmness, that you are the one in charge now. You are the wielder of the sword. You will protect you both. You are not abandoning yourself. You are finally, truly coming home to yourself. In the space below, in the comments, I invite you to perform one final act of claiming. I want you to write one word, just one. The word for what your truth, your silver sword is for. Do not write a sentence or an explanation, just the single, potent word. Is it for clarity? Is it for freedom? Is it for sovereignty? Is it for joy? Is it for peace? Search your newly quieted core and find the word that resonates with the most power. Claim it, declare it. Your word will not just be a declaration for yourself, it will be a lighthouse for someone else who finds their way here, lost in the dark, feeling the heat, but not yet understanding the forge. They will scroll through the comments, and they will see your word, and someone else's, and another's, and they will realize they are not alone. They will see a constellation of lights being lit in the darkness. Your courage will become a permission slip for their own. This is how we weave the new world into being, not with grand gestures, but with small, fiercely honest acts of declaration, rippling out to touch souls we may never meet. I have spent many hours in stillness, meditating on this celestial passage, reading the ancient star charts and the forgotten texts, listening not just with my mind, but with my whole body to what this alignment wanted to communicate. I did this so the path for you would be clear, so the steps would be simple, so the language would land not in your intellect, but in your bones. This is my work. This is my service. If you wish to continue this journey with me, to learn to translate the sacred poetry of the cosmos into the living prose of your own life, then I invite you to subscribe and to press that bell so that you are notified when the next celestial gate opens. There are more to come. This is just the beginning. For now, go and do the work of these next 3 nights. Be gentle with yourself. Be brave. The sky is with you. Your ancestors are with you. And the truth, which has been waiting so patiently inside of you, is finally ready to be born. Walk in courage. Your truth is waiting.